There are so many localizers out there who don't care about faithfully adapting material from a video game or an anime. They just care about modernizing it and pushing their political propaganda into the content other people are consuming. And of course, gamers have fought back against this tooth and nail for years at this point, but now we are seeing the Tales of Xillia remaster be absolutely raked across the coals by gamers in the West and in Japan after we have seen major changes hit this remaster. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, this is a game for adults, made by adults, therefore we should be able to consume content that contains maybe edgy jokes and humor or certain themes that children shouldn't be consuming. But we are seeing, of course, a worldwide censorship sweep where there is a lot of content that is being banned from certain platforms, that is being hidden on certain platforms, and of course, video games, movies, TV shows, entertainment in general have gone through this for years. And one major problem are localizers. They will take content made in other regions in the world, and when it is adapted for like the United States or the Western world, what happens is they modernize it and they say, well, because we found this content offensive, we're gonna change it a little bit. And a lot of these, specifically Japanese companies, typically don't care because they believe that these localizers know best, that they are going to make content that appeals maybe a little bit more to modern audiences or global audiences, and that of course never really works out in their favor. And now the Tales of series fans are blasting this new censorship situation. So heading on over to this Bounding into Comics article, it says Tales of Xillia Remastered censors original game's content to better reflect present day standards. And then we're going to talk about all of the backlash it's receiving, which, by the way, I'm so glad that there are so many gamers out there who are willing to speak up for their hobby and defend their entertainment. For years at this point, I've been talking about censorship in entertainment, and I'm glad that now there's so much more awareness on the topic. It's always great, but Bandai Namco has announced the Tales of Remaster with a plethora of new features and censorship, declaring some expressions had to be changed in consideration of ethics. It seems the censorship of Japanese games with anime art styles continues, despite recent rejections of woken media due to profitability. Except we may already know what is censored. Now, this hasn't come out yet. We don't know exactly what is being altered, but in my opinion, any censorship is still too much censorship. I wouldn't sit here and tell you guys to boycott a game or to buy a game with content that is altered. You are adults who can make your own decisions, but I do think that it is very important to inform you guys, because even if it just boils down to cleavage being covered up or a line of dialogue being changed, it's still censorship, and you deserve to know what companies are doing to the products you expected to be faithful re-releases. Bandai Namco over the years has been very hit or miss. I know that they've released some amazing games, they've released some very poor quality games, and it just seems like this might be a miss. It says boasting numerous quality of life improvements, enhanced graphics, and over 40 pieces of DLC from the original game, Tales of Xillia Remastered is Bandai Namco's way of celebrating the series' 30th anniversary, which is just even more insult to injury. You have fans who have supported this franchise for 30 years, and this is how you repay them, and their dedication is by altering a product you're re-releasing. I'm already sick of remakes and remasters and reboots. I know a lot of people feel the same exact way, but this just makes the situation even worse. It says, though, on both the American and European Bandai Namco web pages, a news post detailed what was new to the remaster, and at the very bottom, the European post's final headline declares some expressions were changed from the original work in consideration of ethics. They are trying to appeal to a global audience with their game, but when you try to appeal to everyone, you really appeal to no one, and ultimately you're just pushing away customers that you could have potentially got lining up to support you. Because if you are trying to tone things down for a modern audience, those people don't buy video games, they don't show up to support your products, and you're pushing away, in this case, fans of 30 years. It says it doesn't elaborate much more, adding in light of ethics, we have changed some expressions from the original work. And we assume WW means worldwide, so worldwide correspondence. The US version is even more curt. Some expressions have been updated, some expressions have been adjusted from the original work to better reflect present day standards. Now, we have seen over the years lots of localizers be behind moves like this. Typically, what they do is they will be hired to translate something, but really what they are doing is they are looking at the region that it's being released in, and they say to themselves, what could be deemed offensive and what should we remove to hopefully receive less backlash. Now, sometimes the Japanese companies themselves hire these people to do this specific job, and sometimes the localizers themselves just take it upon themselves and decide this is what's best for business. But while we don't have that information now, it's very clear that they did consent to some of these changes, or else it wouldn't be on the website and it would have been done like very silently. But we do know that these localizers, of course, are obsessed with pushing their own personal politics into the entertainment that they are supposed to just be adapting. And so they could have convinced a company like Bandai Namco that, oh, all of these different expressions and these different accessories are so offensive, so we should really change them, and they could have gotten their way. Or it might just be Bandai Namco going, nope, sanitize these products to hell and back. So we don't have any more details, but there is a chance we already know what is censored. In the international version of the original release, a character flipping the bird during the main story was changed to them pointing, but calling the Japanese version the original to Western audiences doesn't sit quite right. So one of the major differences that people are highlighting on social media, and that is also brought up on the Japanese webpage, is the difference between the pipe and the beard attachment. So now they're saying, oh, in a game where there's violence and there's adult themes, you can't smoke. You don't even have to use this attachment or customization if you don't want to. Nobody has to use the pipe. So why is it that they found this so offensive? That's absolutely insane to me, and apparently not just to me, given now the Tales of series fans in Japan feel played by the IP's publisher. So after teasing the new announcement for summer 2025, Bandai Namco revealed that Tales of Xillia will be getting a remaster, and a trailer was released on YouTube ahead of Gamescom 2025. It will bring back the Tales series' 13th mainline entry, which originally released in 2011 as a PS3 exclusive. This is the third remaster coming from their Tales of series remastered project, following Vesperia and Grace's F remaster 2019 and 2025 respectively. Although fans are grateful for any new developments in the JRPG franchise, longtime Tales enthusiasts in Japan have been voicing dissatisfaction with how the IP is managed following this announcement. I'm really happy to see Tales get a new remaster, but to put it bluntly, remastered titles aren't something you announce with so much fanfare. They're something you announce alongside a new release. People go, oh, nice, and that's it. I completely agree. I think that if companies really want to put out remasters, that should not be a big slot on their game release schedule for a year. Sure, if you just want to have that as like a small side release, and yeah, you put a little bit of hype behind it, that's fine. But to replace a new mainline entry is insane, and it just shows that they don't actually care about making new content for their audiences. This is what the Tales series looked like back in the day for us old-timers. If you were there, you'd understand why we feel baffled to see a single remaster title announcement treated like some kind of huge event, no? The current state of the Tales franchise is that fans yearn for games, but management keeps pushing events and merch while hardly releasing games. I think it comes as no surprise that the fandom has grown so frustrated. I have no complaints about the Tales remastered project itself, but management is aiming to attract new users and currently failing, while the consumers are disappointed because they were expecting remakes or remasters of titles that are actually unplayable on current-gen consoles. But because of all of this censorship news, now there's another wave of backlash. So we're talking about layers and layers and layers of criticism here. Absolutely go F yourselves. People waited so many years for a ruined port. Laughing my ass off even. I ain't wasting money. Ethics removes pipes, and people say Japan doesn't have censorship. Zero is dumb as hell. This could be on Japan's side of things, or it might just be Bandai Namco looking to, appeal to a global audience again. Bandai Namco has edited the webpage trying to soften their language to make their censorship more palatable. It won't work. We see straight through you. Censorship of the remaster. I'm just wondering who they are worried about offending when it comes to making these changes. Does it outnumber the people like me who don't like the censorship, or does it have to do something with the ESRB rating? So I'll definitely be keeping my eye on the situation, but yeah, they are receiving a lot of backlash right now, and rightfully so. I don't want to spend money on a game that is censored, and you might not find these changes to be that insane, and that's perfectly fine. If you think this looks good, I hope you buy it. I hope you get your money's worth. I hope you enjoy it. But ultimately, with the current time that we're living in where there is so much censorship and there are also so many other games releasing, there's just other better products to purchase. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this and found it important and informative, make sure to give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.